But there's three messages I want to leave you with. First is, I want you to come away with a sense that we in Shell, like our efforts in biofuels, gas to liquids, and conventional fuels, are taking hydrogen as a serious and promising option for the future. And we're going about it in a very prudent and measured way, and doing the right things to try to assess that option. The second thing, message I want to leave you with is, you always hear about the hydrogen economy, and how the hydrogen economy is the future, and always will be. And what I want to leave you with, the message today is, the hydrogen economy is with us now. In fact, hydrogen is an extremely big part of our economy right now, and a growing part. So I want to talk a little about that, because that's important to realize. And the third thing I want to leave you with is that hydrogen builds on all the things that we are doing in other areas of fuels, conventional fuels, leveraging our refineries, leveraging all the assets we have and competencies, leveraging our work in biofuels. I think you'll see as I talk through that all the work we're putting into that, all the assets we have on the ground, the retail stations, the pipelines, and so forth, are a part of the bigger picture of hydrogen. So without further ado, let me start with the next slide. Desmond, thank you. Let me start with the end in mind, which is our vision, like with all fuels, is to provide hydrogen to consumers where they live and work. This is an example of a station we put in. It's the first hydrogen pump installed at a retail gasoline station in North America. It opened in 2004, and the important thing about this station is it's very straightforward. People who come here with their hydrogen vehicles to get fuel, we're doing this in partnership with GM, say that the experience is very much just like getting gasoline. You pull up, you take the nozzle off, you fill your vehicle. It takes about 5 minutes to fill the vehicle. You go into the convenience store, you give them your credit card, you get a receipt, you sign it, and away you go. So that was the whole intent. And it's the first project, in fact, in the world like this. And that's the first one we put in with the vision of the end in mind. And the reason we did it this way is we wanted to spend a lot of money. No, that's not the reason we did it this way. But it did cost a lot of money because this is the first time we've done it really like this. So we made sure it's safe. We made sure all the safety systems are installed properly. We made sure that we got an area with a large enough footprint, large enough area to make sure we can store all the equipment. It has an underground hydrogen tank, for example, which we think is one of the options for the future. And we actually added something called a learning center. We made sure that there's obviously an opportunity as people come in, not only to get hydrogen, because there's actually only about 6 vehicles right now. So there's not a lot of people getting hydrogen, but there are a lot of people at this station getting gasoline, and it allows them exposure to hydrogen. So the message here is, let's go out, as we put in these stations, increasingly put them in where people live and work, because it's important to learn how to do that. Not just technically. There's a lot of technical issues about that, but also in terms of educating fire marshals, code officials, politicians, communities. There's an elementary school right over here. And on Earth Day last year, all the elementary school students came to the station, and the teacher said, I never thought students would ever come on Earth Day to the Shell station to see something like this. So very positive, but we're doing it really at the end of the day to try to understand how can we bring hydrogen to consumers in a safe, affordable, and available manner. So that's the mission there. That's where I start. So let me go back now.
So you have gaseous and liquid.
Yeah, actually, here we have several of our fabulous products here. We have all the way from our regular gasoline, our plus gasoline, and our V-Power gasoline, which is, by the way, the largest, best-selling premium gasoline in the country. We have diesel, and at this particular station, we offer both gaseous and liquid hydrogen, because at the time, in fact, the vehicles from GM, some of them are liquid hydrogen storage and some of them are gaseous. And so that's another thing we're evaluating in this particular station. Not all the stations will have that, but some of them do. So that's kind of where we're headed with this on the retail side. Kind of the history is we started back in '99 as a formal set-aside business unit, very small, but set aside to focus on what's the potential for hydrogen. And really as part of that, we actually, not only in Washington, D.C., but in Tokyo, in Amsterdam, in Iceland, put in hydrogen stations. So, one hydrogen station in each place, different designs with different partners, and really kind of as part of the learning by doing. Let's just get out there and learn what this takes to make this happen, learn all the issues. We also, at the same time, set up joint ventures with auto companies. We set up joint ventures with other technology partners, set up technology companies. We invested in venture funds. We set up a venture fund in Europe and a venture fund in the U.S. We're in the process of setting up a venture fund in Asia. And the reason we do that is, one, to get ideas about deal flows and technology that's coming across in all those major markets. The second reason is it allows us to influence how those technologies are developed, put our money in those places, and foster the things that we can't do all that stuff ourselves. But these venture capital funds can help leverage other funds from other companies like Boeing and Duke Energy and so forth to make those things, kind of like 1,000 flowers blooming and across the spectrum,